Hello! This is Janey and Max from Sort of the Story, and we're here to tell you about some things that are happening between episodes 63 to 75.
During these episodes, there are interspersed audio break-ins of a person's voice along with the sound of static. You'll also notice in the show notes for these episodes, there is sort of a puzzle. This is part of a longer puzzle that we did leading up to episode 76, so this is all supposed to be there. Nothing to worry about, just a fun game.
Yeah, and we hope you have a lot of fun with it, and we hope you enjoy listening to these next couple of episodes. All right, enjoy this one. It's a good one, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we say some really stupid shit in this. You're going to love it. All right,
Bye! Hello!
and welcome.
To Sort of the Story.
I'm Janey.
And I'm also Janey.
And I'm Max.
And I'm also Max.
Wow. And in a way, we're all each other, and you are also us. What story did you bring today? I hope you prepared.
Listen, Janey and I have been pulling our weight in this podcast, and we just feel like you haven't. Where are the stories that you're supposed to be telling us?
Yeah. You should bring something to this podcast.
Podcast. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. We're on the second recording of the day. We're doing 2 in 1, baby.
2 episodes. So episode 72 was mere moments ago for us, but it was a whole week for you guys.
How did you guys like it? Have you bullied me mercilessly about accidentally forgetting the word V formation and instead saying Goose Squad? What did I say?
Patrol.
Goose Patrol. That was so a week ago. You need to get over it.
That was so 3 weeks ago for you, Janey, and I feel like in the future when you re-listen to this, you still will not be over it.
Yeah, I think you won't be over it. I think it'll have caught on and nobody will say V formation anymore.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Well, welcome to this podcast.
I'm Max, and that's Janey. This is the podcast where we tell each other stories, and also you are here.
You get to be here too.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
even
happy
though you
that
forgot
you
to bring
here.
a story.
You know what? Next week, okay? Next week, we'll sit down and we'll listen to you try to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But you think it's fucking easy to sit here and talk to your best friend?
You think it's so fucking simple.
You think all we do is an hour before the podcast starts, we flip through our little books and we find one single story and then don't read anything else. You think that's what we do?
Janey,
You think we forget to put our sources in our Google Docs and then at the last minute we have to be reminded? You think that's what we do?
Janey, I'm going to be honest. While I was trying to find my story today, I read almost an entire book of things that are great stories, but which I couldn't use. So
I went outside, laid out on a hammock, and read like 50 pages of Tam Lin by Pamela Dean.
if you want to get in on that Tam Lin action, you can join us on Discord where we have a book club.
Please get on the Tam Lin action. Oh, God, please. It's so good. I don't know. Like, it's actual literature, and I wasn't prepared for that. I was prepared for, like, a stupid little paperback. And this is, like, almost 500 pages long, and it's beautifully written. It's like Donna Tartt's The Secret History, which, if you are cool, and you made your whole personality Donna Tartt's The Secret History when you were 18 to 23, then you know what I'm talking about.
I read that book when we became friends because you were like, this book is what I'm all about. And I was like...
Max met me in my secret history era. Yeah. I'm about to get back into it.
I'm going to be honest. It was a great book, but I was like, I don't see how this is... You were like, this is where I get all of my sensibilities. And I was like, I don't see that. But, you know.
That's so rude. How dare you.
You're way cooler than Donna Tartt's The Secret History.
You don't think that I have the air of somebody who has killed somebody in their friend group and thrown them off of like a snowy mountain?
Yeah.
How dare you? You don't think I would join a cult at college? Joke's on you, I did improv.
Yeah.
For the entire time.
So, Janey.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a story?
I'm going first this week, so I would love to. I almost fought you on that, but no, you're right. Max, yeah, let's just fucking get into it.
Let's do it to it.
Okay, guys, strap in and strap on.
Strap up.
We're going to Gujarat.
Get strapped.
Bam, bam, bam. Hello, and welcome to Gujarat. Stop yawning during my intro.
I didn't know you were recording already.
You should always assume I'm recording already. I I have microphones all throughout this house.
Every time we're not recording the podcast, I have to preface every sentence with off the record and then say what I'm going to say, because otherwise Janey records everything I say and is ready and willing to use it against me in a court of law.
Joke's on her, I just edit off the record out. Nobody knows. You know, you could just do that. You know that you don't have, like, you could say it all you want, but it's your word against mine, and they love me. All right, so I got a new book called Folk Tales of India. And it's edited by like a bunch of people, and I'm not gonna name them. Just know one of them's name is Peter J. Claus, which means I can't read that without thinking it's Santa Claus's weird nephew.
Little Petey Claus.
Peter J. Claus. The J is for Janta. So
Janta Claus. That's like Santa Claus, but he's wearing jeans.
Yeah, a full jean suit with white fringe.
Jorts. A jacket.
Jacket.
A jert. Some Jews. No. No.
On Christmas, Max? Unlikely. Okay, so... Well, this is Folktales from India. One of the editors is Peter J. Claus. Santa's nephew. There's a story in this. It's a nice little book, honestly. It's great. I don't have a lot of, like, collections that have stories from India, and this is just like an entire book full of them, and I like them. I don't know. All of them. I think they're well written, and they're interesting. A lot of them are very short, and this one is not super short, but it is short enough that I feel good about opening the podcast with it.
Ooh.
This is called The Rain Prince's Bride, and heads up, it's weirdly shocking. Once upon a time... Oh, also, it's a Gujarat story, and Gujarat is a state in India.
Mm.
Once upon a time, there was, not to be confused with the state in Pakistan. That's a different state. There are two states, Gujarat, but they're in different countries. I'm in the one in India.
That's genuinely very interesting.
Please don't yell at me if I'm wrong about that, but I do think that that's the case. Okay. Once upon a time, there was okay, so the thing about Gujarat...
Don't you dare.
Once upon a
John
time...
Mulaney me.
Once upon a time, there was a poor man who lived with his wife and his daughter in the middle of a dense forest. Every day, the man would go out to hunt. He would stay out for hours and hours and hours, from dawn until dusk. He searched for food for his family, and it was hard work, and it barely kept them all alive, and it kind of was like this never-ending cycle. Like, they weren't going to get out of it because he was so exhausted at the end of the day. He couldn't do anything else to, like, get them out of the situation, and they were just kind of destitute. Mm-hmm. His daughter, who was very beautiful, healthy, and smart, hated seeing her father work so hard. She was also nice. And she saw that he would go out very early in the morning, and he wouldn't come home until late in the evening, and he always looked so tired and much older at the end of the day, and she was like, I need to find a way to help him. But also, he wouldn't let her help him, right? He was like, that's not your job, and you're a woman.
Oh.
You have to stay here.
I was gonna
He
say...
never actually says that,
Okay.
so, like, that's why I'm assuming his wife and his daughter don't work to help, you know?
Yeah. I was really excited for a second that I was like, wow, this person is taking their parental role and the boundaries associated with it very seriously.
He definitely is. He's a nice guy, but, like, also I think that there is probably the added thing, like,
But
why
also
is he the only
sexism.
one working?
Yeah.
Okay, so one day, when he woke up early to go hunting in the woods, his daughter is like, fuck it, I'm going to figure this out. And so she secretly follows him. She stays really quiet behind him, and so he never hears her. But soon he was moving too fast through the forest, and he doesn't know she's back there, so she loses him. And she finds herself just alone in the woods. She accidentally Edward Cullen'd herself.
Oh, no.
I know. So suddenly she's, like, alone in the woods. She has no idea where she's going or where she had come from. Cotton Eye Joe. And so she wanders for a bit. She walks...
Did I beam that thought?
You did. I
into your
totally watched it. She wanders for a little bit until she's exhausted, but suddenly she broke through a clearing and she found herself in a huge cornfield.
Is there a Baba Yaga in it?
The cornfield is on a chicken leg. It's not. And there's not. But she's like amazed. She's like, what is this cornfield doing in the middle of the forest? Like, all around it is just big forest, and then also just cornfield. And it's lush, and it's amazing. So she saw two farmers working in that field, and she goes up to them, and she asks them how they had grown such a giant crop. And they were like, we got it from working. The farmers
You
told
ever
her...
heard of agriculture?
We just invented it. The farmers told her that it wasn't so hard after they had removed all the trees. The forest was very fertile. Quote, only there must be no trees on the land you wish to plant. That's like the big thing. If you want to plant something, there can't be a tree there first. The tree's already planted there.
Yeah.
And so the girl thanks them and manages to find her way back to her house. She immediately told her mother what the farmers had taught her, and then she told both of her parents that the next day she would need help clearing a patch of land so she could plant her own cornfield in the forest. She's like, that's how I'm going to help this family. That's what I want to do. Help me out. And her father was like, okay. I don't have any problem with that. So the next morning, she and her father walked together into the forest with an axe. They cut down trees and shrubs, and they spent the next few days cleaning the land for sowing. No. Clearing the land for sowing.
They're down on their hands and knees with a scrub brush.
She's has a
Washing the
broom
dirt.
and she's just sweeping away.
Just moving dirt around.
She's not good at this. She's
She
not
only
a
knows
farmer.
one thing about farming.
She is a woman, Max.
Her brain is so small.
So small. So now that the land is completely cleared, all they need is rain. And she knows that without the rain, all of their work would be for nothing. So she stared and stared at the sky. She's just willing clouds to, like, drop rain on her little field, and nothing happens. Finally, on the day set aside for sowing, she goes outside, and she sees all these clouds in the sky, and she's, like, so excited. She's like, oh my god, it's happening, it's happening. This is so exciting. And she sat there staring at the sky expectantly, but a long time passed, and no rain fell. And she's like,
It turns out that's not how that works.
Rain.
Have you ever heard of meteorology?
No, she just heard of farming. One thing at a time. Instead, what it does appear is a young man. He just walks out of the forest.
He falls out of the sky. It's raining men.
Hallelujah. What if that was the story and you just ruined my hilarious origin? No, a young man emerges from the forest. He's wearing a, like, white button-up short-sleeve shirt, but it's opened up, and so you're just revealing his, like, really pasty white chest, and he's sparkling
Janey, stop.
in the sun.
Janey, stop.
And she's like, it's beautiful. And he's like, this is the skin of a killer. And then he jumps up a tree and he says, I could snap your neck. I haven't seen that in a while. He says something like that.
You definitely have to cut all of this.
Nope. So,
No.
a young man does emerge from the forest. He's wearing, like, an open, buttoned-up shirt, right? And he's, like, sparkling in the sun. He was super hot. He's dressed like a prince, actually.
Mm-hmm.
With his button-up shirt. When she saw, the look you're giving me is making me want to, be terrible, Max. You're gonna have to either close your eyes or just look different.
Sorry, I'll just look different really quickly.
You know I have oppositional defiance disorder. The more you want me to not quote Twilight, the less I'll be able to do that.
You're gonna spoil it.
That's true, I'm gonna spoil Twilight. Nobody's seen it yet. She was overjoyed. No! That's from a different paragraph.
Can we just go, like, back? Just go all the way back.
A young man emerged from the forest. He was super hot, and he was dressed like a prince. When she saw him, the girl immediately, like, felt butterflies in her stomach, and she was like,
ugh, where did I eat all these butterflies?
Oh no, they weren't all dead. So this says, quote, she had never encountered such a handsome man. And then I wrote, burn on those farmers. They were ugly. So he walked right up to her, and he's like, why are you looking at the sky? And she says, I need rain for my field so I can have a rich harvest of corn. And so he asks her, and what will you give me if I bring you rain? Will you marry me? And she's like, yeah.
Okay.
If it rains, I'll marry you. There's already clouds in the sky. It's gonna rain soon, bitch. But she's like, yeah. If you make it rain, I'll marry you. And then she
pulls
says,
out a stack of ones.
honestly, marry him. This is a quote from the story that I really liked. Quote, because it's romantic. They're mute cute. It says, quote, you are a handsome man. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
You know what?
You're hot. I'll love you forever.
Frankly, get some.
So the prince was satisfied with that. He told her that within an hour, the rain would pour onto her field and that he would come for her to fulfill her promise. and she mustn't forget it. And she's like, I'm not going to forget it. This is a really weird thing that's never happened to me.
Also, it's going to be like an hour from now.
Yeah, also, my brain, she has such a tiny brain, Max. She says, if the rain fell, I'll be your bride. And then he says, quote, he seems really great so far. So, like, don't let this, like, deter you, but it is, I have to read it for legal purposes. He says, quote, but I must warn you, my appearance is not always as you see it now, at the beginning of the rainy season. At other times, I am quite ugly and fearsome. Will you not be afraid to look at me then? And she's like, I'll never look at you any different.
You're beautiful
What are you
on the
talking
inside,
about?
I assume.
Your blood probably sparkles too.
Ugh.
So he's like, okay, and also one more condition. Wherever I go, you will have to guide me. Do you agree? And she's like, yeah. What does that mean? And then he leaves. She's like, okay. Within an hour, the rain fell on her field. She danced and she celebrated in the rain as it watered her field, and she knew her family would have a rich harvest and that all would be well.
Until.
When the handsome prince came back, she asked him to allow her to say goodbye to her parents, which he agreed to. Then he, quote, took her skyward on the wings of clouds to where his own home lay. They were so happy together for a while, basking in their newlywed bliss.
I'm getting the, the true crime documentary thing where they're like,
it was
a perfect family until it wasn't. And then it goes photo negative.
Bum, bum.
They had a happy marriage until they didn't.
He was a handsome prince until he wasn't. So one morning, no, I said,
wait, what about her corn?
Oh, she knew that her family was going to be able to do that. Like, she had set them up to be able to, like, plant a cornfield. And all they were waiting for was rain. And I think that was, like, the last day of the season they would be able to, like, plant their corn. And so they had been waiting for that rain.
Yeah, but her whole thing was, like, I want to help.
Yeah, she did by giving them the cool idea. She's an idea man. So they were really happy together for a while. They're basking in their newly married bliss. But of course, the rainy season had to end sometime. Can't make it rain all day. Someday, there's going to be a day when you're no longer wet. One morning, the beautiful girl woke up, she stretched, she turned to her handsome husband, and found that he had indeed transformed. Now, Max, I want you to stop me when this becomes something that you will not be able to tolerate in a partner, okay?
Okay.
Quote, the girl awoke to see a naked man.
No.
Get out! Woo. With mud on his arms.
That's fine.
Why does he have mud on his arms, though? Is that
from
part
mucking around?
Is that the part of the transformation? Like, I imagine this happened overnight while he was sleeping. Why is there mud on his... Anyway. His skin was crawling with scorpions and snakes and other terrible creatures. The man's hair flew to and fro.
Two is fine, fro, not for me.
His eyes were red. He had been crying because of all the snakes.
And because he slipped and fell in the mud. He's having a rough morning.
His hair looks terrible. When she saw this monster in her bed with no warning. And also, this isn't the same as, like, I will look really ugly, and you turn around and you're like, oh yeah, you do look really ugly, like you transformed into a beast. He's crawling with critters. There's an invisible wind throwing his hair back and forth in the bed.
It's like, I'm picturing in Men in Black 2, Vincent D'Onofrio's
That's
character.
the first one, the cockroach man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, imagine waking up next to that.
That's what I'm imagining. I'm already doing it.
So sexy.
Catch up.
Right? Vincent D'Onofrio, he's hot.
You ever just... I think about Emily Spinach a lot, as we addressed several weeks ago.
So many times.
But I also think a lot about that Vincent D'Onofrio tweet where he's like, you ever think about how pigs can't actually look up high enough to be able to see the sky? I think if I was a pig, I would like for someone to pick me up and point me towards the sky so I could see the stars. I think that I would be happy then. Vincent D'Onofrio.
I just saw a TikTok of some farmers who read that exact tweet, and they were like, well, let's go see. And so it was them picking up a pig that looked a lot like Francis. And this pig was like, wah, wah! This pig was just and they're like
confronted with the infinite cosmos.
And he's like, nah! Like the way this pig screamed, it was like this pig thought his number was up. And they're all like, come on, wrestle him. Like all of these fucking farmers trying to wrestle this pig. They're like, you're gonna like it. It's like, nah! And they finally get him up, and he calms down, and they're like, oh, he's doing it. He's looking at the sky, and he just zooms in on the pig's face, and the pig looks horrified.
Confronted with the infinite cosmos.
I don't think pigs would like that. After seeing this, doesn't seem like something he would like.
I'm gonna go pick Francis up and see if he wants to see the sky.
Francis can look up.
No, he can't. He's a pig.
So
I love the idea of a pig feeling existential ennui at the concept of the sky.
That pig did not have a good time in that video. So she sees this monster in her bed with no warning, and she's a little startled. She's like, whoa, what the heck? And she doesn't even say anything. She just looks really, like, surprised and a little horrified because, you know, this is
surprising and horrifying.
Her husband immediately got super defensive. He considered...
Okay, well, you're no fucking tree in the morning either.
He considered this reaction a breach of her promise. Quick trigger warning. So he took his knife and he plunged it into her breast.
Right in the tit?
Right in the tit. As he did that, the girl streaked across the sky as a flash of lightning. And he followed her, thundering all the way. And that is how they became the Lord of Rain and the Queen of Lightning.
Oh. She's deflating like a balloon. Just all the way across the sky.
Word! That's the whole story. That is the Gujarat origin of thunder and lightning.
So, I'm sorry, thunder is made of scorpions? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. No, he's just like an angry guy chasing after this woman to continue stabbing her.
Yeah, but he's made of scorpions and mud.
Sky.
And he has bad hair.
He does have bad hair. I don't know. I think we should give it a few years, and then, like, hair that whips back and forth is going to be all the rage again.
Yeah.
Willow Smith already made that all the rage.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So, I did try to look this story up. I liked that story. I thought it was really weird. I was like, wait, he just stabbed her? Scorpions? And so I did try to look it up, but I could not find any origin of this story beyond the one in Folktales of India. What I did find was a story from Northern Africa about thunder and lightning. And it was basically like, thunder is an old ram, and lightning is her little lamb, who's terrible. He's bad, and he has a bad temper, and he, like, keeps, like, fucking shit up, and she keeps yelling at him for it, but the king was like, hey, he's fucking shit up, you need to move farther away from civilization. And so they move farther away, and the little lamb is like, I hate everything, and it's, like, kicking down trees, and, like, just, like, running back and forth, and his mom is like, stop it, you're gonna get us kicked out again, and everybody complains to the king. It's like, move even further out, you two, and they go even further, but this fucking little lamb just keeps like, no! It's like, he runs so fast that he, like, lights trees on fires, and, like, whole forest fires start because of him, and his mom's like, cut it out! Wait until I tell your father! And finally the king is like, you're banished to the sky, and that's thunder and lightning. So if you try to look this story up, that's what you're going to find. I also tried to look up stories of thunder and lightning, and I just got a bunch of people being hit by lightning. But, that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.
I did enjoy it. That was fun and confusing.
And pretty short.
Mm-hmm. I really thought corn was going to be a bigger factor in that story.
No, it didn't. Nothing in this story really needed to happen.
Yeah, it was just kind of a series of unconnected events.
Yeah,
I'm into it. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
It
does kind of tie into there's a bunch of folktales that just, like, end with domestic abuse. Mm-hmm. And this is one of them. But it was fun up until he stabs her. Yeah. And that's the best you can hope for as a woman in folktales. Oof. Cool. You want to take a quick break?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Janey.
Max.
The story I have for you today is called Master and Man. I chose this because when this episode comes out, it will be around St. Patrick's Day.
March 16th, I believe.
Oh, my mom's birthday is the 18th. Everyone say happy birthday to my mom.
Happy birthday, Starbra.
So in light of that, I wanted to find an Irish folktale for you today.
Okay.
And I went through, as I said earlier, an entire book and ended up not using any of those. And then I went through half of another entire book Didn't use any of those. And then I went to a third book, which I read almost all of until I finally found a story. Because we've done a lot of Irish stories already, so I had to skip over a couple of the big hits.
Yeah. Go listen to The Man in the Moon.
Yeah.
Which is the same episode as Hans the Hedgehog.
The Witch of Fife.
We should do another little listicle of all of the Irish tales
Yes.
that have been told on this podcast.
Yes. We can do
Fun.
that. For
Yeah.
fun. For sure.
Just for fun.
Just for fun.
Go check out our Instagram for a listicle
Yeah.
on Irish folk tales that we have told on this podcast.
Yeah, inspect our listicles.
Woo-hoo! Be gentle.
So this story is called Master and Man. I have it in a collection of folk tales called Celtic Tales, Fairy Tales and Stories of Enchantment from Ireland, Scotland, Brittany, and Wales, collected and illustrated by Kate Forrester. This is another one of our anthology books that just has like a bunch of stories, and the illustrator sort of compiled them so that they could draw pictures for it, I assume. So the picture for this story is really pretty. I'm just going to show it to you really quickly.
Okay.
And we will also post it on the Instagram, unless we don't. This is the illustration for it.
Oh.
There's a guy.
Aw.
There he is.
Is that a little leprechaun?
That's a great question.
Okay.
This story originally was recorded by T. Crofton Croker, who was a lot of the folklore that we have from like the 1800s is from T. Crofton Croker. He went around and collected a bunch of Irish folk stories and then published them. He published them especially in England to be like, this is what Irish people are like. W.B. Yeats also has a version of this story. And I think we've mentioned before, I think maybe it was the Witch of Fife episode, that W.B. Yeats fucking hated T. Crofton Croker.
Yeah.
Because W.B. Yeats is the Irishest that anyone has ever been. And T. Crofton Croker, in his stories, oftentimes would depict the Irish people as being like gullible or, you know, like very much a caricaturized version of like what an Irish person is.
Wasn't he kind of like an English sympathizer?
Yes. Yeah. He was very like he was Irish himself, but he was like, we need to be more like England.
Oh my God.
And so he was
what
just
a pick me.
Yeah. He was just brown nosing England as a concept. Which is also a part of why W.B. Yeats absolutely fucking hated him. So W.B. Yeats went through and took a bunch of T. Crofton Croker's stories and rewrote them almost verbatim, but like fixed it. So there are a couple of different versions of this story that you can find. I have linked to a free text in the notes for this episode. But with all that, T. Crofton Croker / W.B. Yeats is Master and Man.
Okay.
Gotta get my fingies warmed up.
Just started a little fire in our office. Rude.
There was a man named Billy McDaniel. And
okay.
Don't you deny it. He was a good-natured young man, generally fairly well-liked, but he was a drunk.
Okay.
Yep.
So far, none of this seems like a caricature.
There's a line that says, he feared nothing but the want of drink, cared for nothing but who should pay for it, and thought of nothing but how to make fun over it.
Okay.
So all he thinks about is drinking and figuring out ways to have people buy him drinks and to have a good time while he's drinking. That's all he thinks about.
I'm down.
Honestly?
Yeah.
So he, you know, is generally like a very kind and well-liked person. He is someone who, like, when he is drunk, will very quickly come to blows if there is a disagreement. But, you know, aside from that, good guy. Billy McDaniel was walking home late one night. It was after Christmas. It was the dead of winter. And it was absolutely freezing. All of the bars had closed down, so it was like the middle of the night. And it is bitterly cold outside. He is walking home. And he thinks to himself, by my word... No, he says to himself out loud.
Okay.
With his voice.
That's important.
By my word, a drop of good liquor would be no bad thing to keep a man's soul from freezing in him. And I wish I had a full measure of the best. So he basically says, like, I really wish I had a drink, like a walk-in drink, because it's really cold out here, and I would be less cold if I had some liquor.
Yeah.
And as he says this to himself, a voice close to him, low to the ground, says, never wish it twice, Billy.
Oh.
And he looks down, and he sees a tiny man. And the man is wearing a 3-cornered hat that is trimmed all in gold lace. And he is wearing shoes that are huge, because this is a very tiny man. Big old shoes with big silver buckles on them.
Guys, go watch the movie The Magical Legends of the Leprechauns. Just go do it. You're welcome.
Just go do it. And he produces from somewhere a large glass that is almost as big as he is, full of liquor.
Oh.
And he offers it up to Billy. And Billy's no fool, right?
Okay.
Tiny little man, Pierce, in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You say, I wish I had a drink. And suddenly there's a tiny man who's like, here's a drink. We know what that is.
Yeah.
That's one of the good people, the wee folk.
Oh. And you definitely take that drink. No questions asked. Thank you very much.
He does.
Billy, no. God, hold on. I'm more itchy than I was last time. Go ahead.
So Billy knows that what he's dealing with here is a fae, and he does not care. So he says, success, my little fellow. Here's to your health, and thank you kindly. And he takes the cup from the little man, and he swallows the whole cup in one go, and then hands the empty cup back to the little man. And the little man says back to him, success, and you're heartily welcome, Billy. But don't think to cheat me as you have done others. Out with your purse and pay me like a gentleman.
Oh.
So he's like...
Billy, you should have asked the price beforehand.
You should have asked the price beforehand. So this guy is like, nobody drinks for free.
Yeah.
You didn't ask, but that costs money and you have to give me money.
Yeah.
And I know that you're going to try and welch out on me because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But don't, or else.
Sure.
And Billy says, is it I pay you? Could I not just pick you up and put you in my pocket as easily as a blackberry?
Oh, blackberry!
So he's like, oh, I'm supposed to pay you. You're just a little guy. You could literally fit in my pocket. Literally, I could pick you up and put you in my pocket like a blackberry
also,
right now.
He did not drink that like a walking beer. He took it like a shot.
Not beer. Specifically not beer.
Fuck.
Specifically liquor. So probably either whiskey or poutine.
Okay.
So
it's whiskey or poutine. Gravy with cheese curds on top of fries.
So the tiny man is like, oh, okay, so we're just gonna go right for the fucking throat then, I guess. Not that I'm self-conscious about my height or anything. And he says, all right, well, since you won't pay up fair and square, I'm changing the price. The price is now that you are my servant for 7 years and a day.
Fuck! Oh no, Billy!
So Billy is like, I'm not gonna... And then he feels himself compelled, as though by magic.
Oh.
And the tiny man is like, all right, let's get going.
Yeah.
And starts walking.
Yeah.
And Billy is compelled by this force to follow this tiny man wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So the tiny man walks all over, really just being an asshole, being like, oh, are you tired? You want to go home? Walks him all over the countryside for the whole night. Billy is exhausted, but he finds himself unable to stop walking, right? Mm-hmm. So he's just following this little man all around, and the little man's like, oh, are you tired? Do you want to take a break?
Be the baby.
Is he cold? And then at dawn, Billy finds that they have found their way back close to Billy's hometown.
Yeah.
And the little man says, all right, well, I'm done with you for right now. So you can go home, get some rest, and you had better show up in this field tonight at dusk because you still have another 7 years of servitude to me. And you don't want to know what happens if you don't show up. And Billy's like, okay. And so he drags himself home and he throws himself in bed. And he's completely exhausted, but he finds he can't sleep because he is so occupied by thoughts of this tiny man. And he's like, oh, God, what have I done? Like, what's going to happen to me? So he throws himself in bed. He just lays in bed all day, unable to sleep. And then dusk approaches. And he decides that, no, he doesn't want to find out what happens if he doesn't show up. So he puts his coat on and he walks out to the field where the little man told him they would meet.
He doesn't have a job?
No.
Okay.
Well, now he does.
Kill.
So Billy gets to the field. Mm-hmm. And the little man's like, good, you showed up. That's good for you. And he says, if I find you a good servant, you will find me an indulgent master. So okay. He's like, if you obey me, this isn't going to be too bad, right?
Sure.
The little man says to Billy, go ahead and saddle 2 horses, one for me and one for you. I assume you don't want to walk because you're probably still sleepy from last night, right?
Oh my God, he's still being an asshole. Also, where's he going to get the horses?
That's a great question. Billy is like, I would be happy to saddle your horses if you show me where they are.
Yeah.
And the little man is like, well, here's what you're going to do. You see that bog over there? Mm-hmm. And Billy's like,
oh no.
What?
Are the horses gonna be kelpies?
No.
Oh my god. I was like, he's just gonna bog horses? We know to stay away from bog horses, Max. We're not
There's one thing I
stupid.
know. It's like, never trust a horse from the bog.
No.
He says, you're going to go over to that bog, and I want you to find me the 2 strongest rushes that you can on the bank of the bog, right? So a rush being like, kind of like a tall grass.
Okay, yeah.
Like a, kind of like a cattail,
Sure.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, that contextualizes it for me. I don't even care if it's, like, accurate, if it's just, like, a tall grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he says, go and take 2 of the strongest rushes you can find from the bank of the bog there and bring them back here. And Billy's like, okay, sure. He goes over to the bog and he tests all of the rushes and he finds 2 that are pretty strong and he pulls them up. And
They're not that strong if you can pull them up.
And he goes back to the little man and he's like, here are your plants. And the little man takes one of the rushes and he throws his leg over it and he's like, well, what are you waiting for? Get up. And Billy's like, oh, sure, I would love to get up, except get up where? On what? You want me to just
Ride a piece of grass?
ride a piece of grass? And the little man is like, hey, you're my servant. It's not your place to ask questions. Just do as you're told.
Yeah. Fair.
And Billy's like, all right, but you must think I'm fucking stupid if you think that I think that this grass that I just pulled up is a horse. And little man's like, just do it. So Billy's like, all right. And he like straddles this piece of grass.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little man says, borum, borum, borum. And immediately the 2 rushes swell up and become horses.
Yeah!
They are immediately off at high speed.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Billy didn't expect that to happen.
Oh, no.
Believe it or not. And so he had mounted his rush backwards.
Oh, no.
So he's stuck riding this horse backwards and holding onto its tail so he doesn't fall off. So they ride, and these are 2 of the fastest horses that they've ever encountered, right?
Yeah.
So they ride until finally they get to the home of a very wealthy man, right? And the little man goes straight up to the door. It's nighttime.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up to the door, and Billy's like, oh, what are we doing here? And the little guy's like, no, stop with the no questions.
No questions.
No questions. And he says, all right, do exactly as I do. Follow me very closely.
Mm-hmm.
And then he leans in close to the door and he whispers an incantation. And it's not in any language that Billy recognizes, but he does his best to,
Mimic it.
And no sooner has he said these words than both of them become impossibly small and fly in through the keyhole of the door. They fly in through the keyhole of the front door. They fly through the house, Billy following the little man.
Mm-hmm.
And the little man leads them through doorways, through keyholes, to the wine cellar.
Oh, no.
They reach the wine cellar and they turn back into their normal selves.
Mm-hmm.
And the little man is like, well, get to drinking. And both of them pull...
It's a real Witch of Fife move.
Yeah. Both of them pull wine off of the shelves. And they drink and they drink and they drink. And Billy says, if you keep me in my drinks, this might not be such a bad gig after all. Mm-hmm. And the little man says, I can't promise that. I would never promise you anything. But yeah.
But I get it.
But yeah. So they drink and they drink. And then dawn begins to approach, and the little man's like, all right, time to head back. And they both sort of boozily repeat the incantation, become very small, fly through the keyholes, out of the house, get to the front door where the horses have turned back into rushes. They mount the rushes, and the little man says, borum, 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 again. Mm-hmm. And the rushes turn into horses. They ride home as fast as the wind. And they arrive just before dawn.
Drinking and riding. Mm-hmm.
Horseback riding under the influence.
Oh my gosh. You are being arrested for mounting while intoxicated.
So they go back home. Billy goes back to his house and goes to bed. Mm-hmm. He sleeps the day away, and the next night he's back in the field.
Must be fucking nice, Billy.
Right? The next night he comes back to the field and they do the same thing again. And every night Billy goes with the little man and they fly off on their rush horses and use their incantations to get in through keyholes of all of the wealthiest men in Ireland. go down into their wine cellar,
This little
steal
dude just
the wine.
wants a drinking buddy.
Yeah. So they go and they sample all of the finest wine cellars in Ireland to the point that they can tell the difference between the wines, as well as any sommelier.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that continues for a long time. Eventually, one night, the little man tells Billy, instead of getting 2 rushes from the bog for tonight, I want you to get 3.
Ooh.
Because we may bring back more company than we take. So Billy grabs 3 rushes and he thinks to himself, he's like, I wonder if he's got another servant. And if so, I have seniority. And so I'm going to make the other servant go get these rushes next time. Literally the one thing he has to do. And so he gets the 3 rushes.
He only has one job.
He literally only has to do one thing, and it's just pulling up grass. Literally the only thing. So he pulls up 3 rushes, and the little man says, Borum, Borum, Borum. They turn into horses, and Billy leads the 3rd horse as they gallop off.
Yeah.
He follows the little man, and they arrive not at the home of a wealthy man with a fancy wine cellar, but outside of a very well-appointed farmhouse.
Okay.
It is nighttime, and inside there is a sound of people celebrating, a huge party inside, music and like yelling and laughing and lights coming from inside the house and everything. And they stop, they dismount from their plants, and the little man looks on and sort of listens to the party for a minute, and Billy's like, still not supposed to ask questions. Okay. And after a moment, the little man looking on at this party, he says very suddenly, Billy, I will be 1,000 years old tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday.
And Billy said, God bless us, sir, will you? And the little man, hearing God bless us, says, don't say that again, or you will be the ruin of me. But yes,
no.
It's true.
Well, now he knows how to get rid of him.
He says, I'm going to be 1,000 years old tomorrow. And, you know, I'm thinking, I'm getting to an age where thinking about settling down, finding a wife. And
I'm not going to be this young forever, Billy.
And Billy says, well, yeah, if you want to get married, you probably better do it soon. The little man explains that the house that they have arrived at is the home of a beautiful young woman named Bridget Rooney.
Okay.
She is the daughter of a farmer. She is tall and beautiful and kind, and she comes from good people, right? And the little man says, I've decided that she's going to be my wife.
No.
Also, the party that is happening is the pre-wedding party for her, because she is engaged to be married to a man named Darby Riley that very evening. And the little man is like, but we're not going to let that happen. And Billy says, what would Darby Riley say about that? And the little man says, silence! You're not supposed to ask questions. So the little man goes up to the house with Billy in tow. He leans in close to the door and he whispers the incantation to go through the keyhole. He and Billy go through the keyhole and into this huge party that's just full of people. There's Darby Riley and his father and his 2 brothers. There's Bridget Rooney and her parents and her 4 sisters and 3 brothers and all of their uncles and cousins. Everyone is around this huge table and they're all feasting and dancing and everything. So they fly in, invisible and small, into that house, and then they go up towards the ceiling, and the little man alights on one of the beams over the feasting table. And transforms back into himself. Billy alights on the beam opposite him and transforms back into himself.
Oh no, he's a full-size man on that beam. That's so scary.
So the little man is perched sort of on this beam, and Billy is much less gracefully, just sort of has his feet dangling down above the table, and they both look down at the party happening below. As they are there, the priest and the piper are both there as well, and Bridget Rooney's mother is in the process of serving the priest who is about to officiate the wedding the first slice of a big ham. So she's carving off a piece of ham.
Love a good ham story.
Yeah. She's carving off a piece of the ham for the priest, right? And the little man produces from his pocket a small leather pouch. Billy watches as the little man reaches into the pouch, pulls out some kind of powder, and sprinkles it down below onto Bridget Rooney's plate.
Oh no, Bridget!
Bridget Rooney, as the dust floats down in front of her, sneezes. Now, a couple of things happen very quickly in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
The priest takes his first bite of the ham.
Oh, no.
So he can't say, bless you, when she sneezes.
Uh-oh.
But also, everyone else is like, there's a priest here. We probably shouldn't be the person to say, bless you. We're not going to take that from him. So they all kind of wait, and he's chewing on this piece of ham and, like, not able to get through it really quickly. And so kind of the moment passes, and they all go back to talking and laughing and eating.
Oh, no.
So nobody has blessed her for sneezing. And the little man laughs, and he says, ha! I have half of her now, surely.
Mm-hmm.
Let her sneeze, but twice more, and she's mine. So if someone had blessed her, she would have been safe from the little man.
Yeah.
But because they didn't, she is now susceptible to him.
So she's like in a Beetlejuice situation. She has to sneeze
Yes.
3 times without somebody blessing her?
Yes.
Oh, no.
That's exactly the situation.
Well,
it
he
is.
doesn't have half of her. He has a
Yeah, the
third
math
of her.
doesn't work out.
Okay, but he is a little man with, like, magic dust, so maybe
Yeah.
he has other things to do. He's had 1,000 years to figure out fractions. All I'm saying.
I mean, you've had 31 years to figure out your 7 times tables.
That is 969 years less than this man has had to figure out fractions. How dare you?
That was really good math.
Yeah. Yeah, Max. Because in 31 years, I've learned something.
Learned a thing or two about numbers.
They go all the way up, but no higher than 700. I learned that from Kunk on Earth.
So Bridget sneezes, nobody blesses her. The little man is like, great, if she sneezes 2 more times, then I can steal her away as my wife.
Mm-hmm.
He takes another little pinch of the powder from his sack, and he sprinkles it on Bridget's plate once again. And once again, Bridget sneezes, but she's self-conscious about the fact that she just sneezed, and so she tries to do one of those little, like, lady-like sneezes. Just, like, a really quiet little, like, achoo!
Aww.
And everyone, it's still loud, there's music, everyone's talking and everything, so nobody actually really notices that she's sneezed. So nobody says bless you. So that's 2.
Uh-oh.
And meanwhile, Billy is watching this, and he's looking at the little man who's hunched up like a gargoyle on this beam over the party with his weird little magic dust. And he's like, that guy's 1,000. And he looks down at Bridget Rooney, and she's beautiful. She has, like, clear blue eyes and, like, beautiful, like, glowing skin.
Yeah.
And she's surrounded by her friends and family, and she looks happy. She's smiling and laughing, and she's just, like, she's young and, like, full of life.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I feel really bad for her having, like, she's gonna be taken away by this 1,000-year-old,
Grosso.
like, nasty-o old son of a bitch.
Nasty-o.
A little nasty-o. And so he's like, man, I feel really bad for her. Like, this is gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
So the little man, meanwhile, is taking out a 3rd pinch of powder from his sack, and he sprinkles it down onto Bridget's plate, and she sneezes for a 3rd time. And startled out of his thoughts, either Billy's never sure whether he did it on purpose or just as a force of habit.
Yeah.
But he shouts, bless you! And everyone looks up.
Oh, no.
And the little man says, Billy McDaniel, I discharge you from my service. Take that for your wages. And he kicks Billy in the back. And Billy falls off of this, like, roofing beam directly into the middle of the table where everyone is feasting. The little man disappears, right? And so
I
now,
like to imagine Billy fell directly on top of the ham, and it, like, flew out off, like, from under him, and the apple flew in the
went
air.
straight up in the air, and then landed
caught
in his mouth.
in his mouth, and he's just, like, on the little ham plate.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he lands on the table, the little man disappears, and everyone's like, what the fuck? Where did this guy come from?
Who? Why?
And Billy gathers himself up, and he explains to them what happened. He's like, I was brought here by a little guy, and he did magic, and we were going to do something, but then I saved you.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, makes sense. And so they invite him to join in the party. And the priest, not wanting to waste any more time or risk any more interruptions, performs the wedding service immediately. Bridget and Darby are married.
Aw.
And Billy McDaniel stays and parties with them and drinks and eats for the rest of the night.
Then he has
And
to
that's
somehow
it.
make his way home. He was on those, like, super fast horses.
And that's the end of the story.
I love that. I don't think it's that surprising that they believed him. They watched a tiny little leprechaun kick him in the back.
So, actually,
Ooh.
what we have here
Okay.
is not a leprechaun.
Oh.
It is what's called a cluricon, which is
a magical Leopleurodon, if you will.
which is almost exactly like a leprechaun, but drunk.
What? I'm sorry. What's what? What's a leprechaun then?
A sober cluricon.
So we only know cluricons?
Basically.
How do you spell cluricon?
Clurichaun.
Okay.
Just clury instead of lepra.
Like Comic-Con.
No. So this is a cluricon. A lot of the things that we see in media of leprechauns being like drunk little mischief makers are actually cluricons.
Wow.
Leprechauns are supposed to be like very hardworking and dedicated, and like if you fuck with them, they're gonna fuck you up, but they're not necessarily like mischievous.
Those sound a little bit more like tomties than...
Yes. Whereas a cluricon is specifically, they're associated with like breweries and pubs and things like that. They're often, one of the things that they are said to do is go into people's wine cellars at night and steal and drink all of their wine. They are magical and they are tricksters.
Huh.
Yes,
that's so wild.
They are related to leprechauns. They're kind of like almost like an offshoot of leprechauns.
Is it kind of like the Seelies and the Unseelies? Like the leprechauns and the cluricons?
A little bit, I would say.
Okay.
I think it's more like a witch and a Baba Yaga. You know?
No.
Where they're like not quite the same, but they're...
It's like an Abraham Lincoln and
God.
a Dracula.
They're often depicted as being shoemakers. They are sometimes guardians of hidden treasure. So if you come across a cluricon, sometimes you can trick them into bringing you to their treasure. Oftentimes they are depicted as solitary. So both cluricons and leprechauns are usually alone. They usually like come upon someone and like, you know, which is in contrast to the trooping fairies, which are the other ones that we hear a lot about in
the magical
Irish stories.
Legends of the fairies and leprechauns have trooping fairies that make all of the plants and stuff. Guys, go watch that movie. It's great.
Yeah, the trooping fairies are the ones that you hear about with, like, Queen Mab and things like that. The ones that you hear in the forest, and if you try and find them, you'll get lost. That kind of thing. So cluricons and leprechauns are considered more solitary. I also found the National Leprechaun Museum in Ireland, which I have been to.
Oh.
Not to brag. They have an article, which I've linked in the show notes for this episode, on cluricons. And one of the things that they mentioned, they go through and they like delineate the differences between a cluricon and a leprechaun. And they also specifically say like, hey, if you're not sure whether you're dealing with a cluricon or a leprechaun, don't assume it's a cluricon, because if it's a leprechaun, they will be super offended that you think that they're like a sloppy drunk.
Yeah. So always assume they're a leprechaun.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's more information at that link. I just think it's fun. I've never heard of a cluricon before, and I love for St. Patrick's Day that we got a
little lesson.
Yeah, a mischievous drunken guy.
So we're about to see, especially here in Savannah, where St. Patrick's Day is like everybody's whole fucking personality.
It's the third biggest St. Patrick's Day in the United States.
Yeah.
Behind Boston and Chicago, I think.
But it's about to be real fucked up over here for a little while. But that being said, we're about to see a bunch of people running around acting like idiots saying that they're leprechauns.
Yeah.
That's going to be frustrating from now on.
Yes.
It's also frustrating anyway. It feels dicey.
Yeah. Happy St. Patrick's Day. This year I got for you, you get to be pedantic. Everyone's gonna be like, I'm like a leprechaun. You're gonna be like, actually, you're like a cluricon.
Actually, you're a cluricon.
Happy St. Pedant's Day.
Ooh, a little treat for you from Max. Max, fantastic. I'm really happy to know that, genuinely.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
It is a fun one. Guys, if you liked this story, head over to our socials.
Yeah.
And let us know how much you liked it. And if you have any plans for St. Patrick's Day, and if you're going to show up dressed like a real leprechaun in a full business suit, holding a briefcase.
Very serious.
Full of messages from the Lord. If you want to join our Discord and talk about Tamlin by Pamela Dean, do that. It's fun.
That also.
Go to our website, www.swordofthestory.com, and look at our contacts if you want to shout us out at any time.
You can find the links to all of our socials, Instagram and Twitter and
TikTok
and Goodreads and Facebook, maybe?
Our bookshop.org affiliate account.
Exactly. And also our TeePublic shop for merch.
And our email.
Yes, our email and a link to our Discord. So
okay, there's a bunch of stuff there, okay?
we are available as hell to you.
Maybe check the show notes where all of those things are at the bottom as well. I never let them know that's where those are. We're always like, go to a separate link, but you're on your podcast thing. We should probably start saying that. And yeah, rate and review this podcast and have a good fucking day.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, kids.
Keep an eye out for Cluricons.
Ooh, goodbye.
Bye.
So, what are we watching today? Pride and Prejudice?
Yes.
Yes.
And or Stardust.
Not and or. It's going to be Pride and Prejudice and then Stardust another day. I know Lauren and I know me.
Okay. I'm just saying that's not what we discussed.
That is exactly what we discussed. I actively watched you stop listening when we talked about not doing a double feature. I was like, we're recording 2 episodes of the podcast tomorrow. There's no way you can do a double feature. And your eyes went like blank and then you just went to a different place for a bit.
Listen, I'm deeply passionate about double features. I still stand by one of the best double features I ever did. I was babysitting back in high school for this family, and they were like, the kids are going to go to bed early. We're going to be out until about midnight. So if you want, we have like a huge DVD collection. You can just throw on some movies. We just need someone here in case the kids need help, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, great. And at that time, that was like before Netflix was a big thing, which I feel like makes me sound very old. Netflix hasn't been a thing for that long.
No.
But it's like Netflix wasn't a big thing. So I had a bunch of like classic movies that I had never seen. So I went through their DVD collection and I found 2 movies that I had always heard about, but I had never seen.
Okay.
And so I did a double feature of Fern Gully and The Matrix.
Fern Gully is such a good fucking movie. It holds up. Also,
that's a really good double feature.
I don't want to brag, but a lot of my personality is based off of Robin Williams' portrayal of Batty.
That checks out.
Yo, my name is Batty. The logic isn't ready. Potato in a jacket. Toys in the attic. I rock and I ramble. My brain is scrambled, wrapped like an animal, but I'm a mammal. All of our cosmetics are non-cosmetic. Ah!
That was really impressive. Probably. I don't know the words, so I'm going to assume that those were right.
My best double feature was when we had Cage Fest, and I watched Con Air, which is great, and
fantastic film.
Face Off, which is great.
Face Off is... Con Air is a good movie.
Yeah.
Face Off is a terrible movie.
And they're both the best movies ever made. And they're both equally the best movie anyone's ever made or watched.
I'm going to tell you right now the order of Nicolas Cage movies that I saw. The first Nicolas Cage movie that I saw was National Treasure.
Good.
And I was like,
got that blue-eyed little cutie.
Yeah.
Riley, what's his fuck?
Yeah. Classic Riley, what's his fuck? Then I saw Ghost Rider, right?
Great movie.
Great movie.
Very entertaining.
Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, also a great movie, but that was later.
That's wrong.
It's great.
I'm almost positive you're not right on that.
It's a good, bad movie.
Okay.
And then, after seeing both of those, I saw Con Air. And so I was like, Nick Cage is kind of a prestige actor. Like,
He's hot in Con Air.
He's really hot in Con Air. And so people were like, Nicolas Cage is acting. And I was like, he seems like a Tom Cruise level actor.
Yeah.
Because those movies don't reflect how he is as a person, you know?
No. Which is terrible. He's a terrible person.
He went bankrupt buying too many dinosaur fossils and exotic animals.
He's just a bad guy.
He owned the La Laurie mansion in New Orleans for a little while because
he did. Because he just wants to own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because he felt a connection to the ghosts inside. And buddy, I don't know how to tell you this, but the ghosts inside are Madame LaLaurie, one of the worst torturers in human history. Like,
I just really like them, and I feel like they get me.